The title of this podcast is Throwing Blocks for People and They Don't Even Know It. This is inspired by a conversation that I had with my good friend Matt just a few days ago. I was asking him about work and how that was going and about the folks who works with and report up to him. And he was telling me about a gentleman who worked there for a long time, but he kind of created a toxic environment for everyone that he worked with. He wasn't exactly a manager, but he'd been in the business for over 20 years. And so he just kind of assumed that role. And in doing so, anytime somebody new came in, he treated them poorly. And in some cases, he bullied them. And Matt started to recognize that once he came back to Arizona to lead the office. And Matt is a wise human being. And he knew that talking directly to the person about what was going on was going to have, little benefit. It wasn't necessarily going to produce the results that Matt wanted. He was hoping more of a partnership instead of being directive and encouraging this person to change their behavior in the workplace. So he started to do certain things and making policies within the office that benefited all as opposed to just one individual. The person struggled with this, but Matt was the leader in the office and he complied. And he told me a story about one particular person who was having a hard time finding their footing and being successful in the business that they were new to. And so Matt started to bring her under him in an organizational chart, so reported directly to Matt, as opposed to under this other person. As a result, she started flourishing. Matt was not telling me this to pat himself on the back. He just had more of a collaborative style. He wasn't out trying to squeeze this person from being successful, and Matt did not have the perspective that or attitude that if she's successful, then that means less success for me. He was like, I want everybody to win. And if she wins, we all win. And so Matt had that kind of attitude about it. And what was happening was while this other person was still trying to be present and with the young colleague who came aboard, Matt provided a little bit of a buffer from this person. Matt was throwing blocks for the person and helping them be successful. He was creating rules that were more team oriented versus the individual. And he was also spending a lot of time with this person one-on-one so they would get the right kind of coaching and mentoring. Whereas the other person did the exact opposite. They withheld information that would have likely uh, been very useful for this person in this new industry. So every step along the way, when Matt noticed the behavior of the senior person, perhaps being detrimental to the greater good, he would he would throw a little block without the other person even knowing it. And I asked him, I said, he said, I said, so how's your young colleague doing now? It's like she's thriving. I mean, she's one of the top performers in our office. And I said, and that wasn't the case before. He said, no, it wasn't even close. I didn't know if she'd make it in the business. And so I said, I wonder, is she grateful to you for what you've done? And Matt says, it's unlikely that she even knows or recognizes what I've done for her. And Matt says, and I don't need her to, which is typical Matt, is that he doesn't need any pat on the back or any acknowledgement for the work that he does. Something that I find very inspiring. And in my own life, I'm aware of people that are throwing blocks for me all the time. I mean, my great friend John DeCuna, I'm sure, with all the opportunities that I get is throwing blocks for me. My friend Jonathan Layden at Mayo Clinic and Cynthia Stunnington, Terry Trittman, and others have thrown a lot of blocks for me, which I continue to be indebted to them for. And in ToBeRe, all the members of ToBeRe are throwing blocks for me. You know, when someone may have something to say that is negative, they will always encourage the person to assume positive intent and to talk to me. And so I want to thank people for throwing blocks for me. And there are countless people that have thrown blocks for me and are doing so right now that I'm unaware of. So if you hear this, thank you for throwing blocks for me. And previously when I was Keith 1.0, uh, I know a lot of people were throwing blocks for me, and I was blind to who they were. And that is certainly a tough way to move through life. You know, in the spirit of, football, professional football here in the United States, and the Super Bowl just around the corner, you have two teams who have players on their team that throw blocks for each other. There are a lot of guys on teams that are paid to catch the ball, and they will throw blocks for the quarterback and the running back so they can be successful too. And hopefully, I'm doing a good job of throwing blocks for people. And like Matt, I don't need the credit for doing so. So throw blocks for people and help them be successful without needing any credit for it. So thank you.